Today we're diving into a spy story that shocked the entire United States, the story of Robert Hanssen, a respected FBI agent who turned out to be the worst traitor in history. Picture this, a freezing winter morning in 2001 at Foxstone Park in Virginia. Snow blankets the ground, the air calm and serene. A middle-aged man looking as composed as any ordinary father steps out of his car. That man is Robert Hanssen, a devoted husband, father of 6, and devout member of Opus Dei. But in his hand isn't a breakfast bag, it's a black trash bag. Inside, not garbage, but 7 classified national security documents and a letter to the enemy. He cautiously walks to a small bridge, places the bag in a hollow, and heads back to his car. Unbeknownst to him, every move is caught on camera. Suddenly, 2 SUVs screech to a halt. Heavily armed SWAT agents leap out guns, raise Mr. Hanssen. You're under arrest for treason. That moment ended Hanssen's 22 years of espionage, selling secrets to the Soviet Union, causing millions of dollars in damage and the loss of Allied lives. Why would someone like Hanssen, devout, family-oriented, betray his country? This isn't just about greed, it's the journey of a soul torn between faith and deceit, loyalty and hatred. We'll dig deep into his childhood FBI career and dark personal secrets. If you love James Bond-style spy stories that are 100% real, hit like and subscribe now so you don't miss out. Let's start at the beginning. Chicago, 1944. Robert Hanssen was born on April 18, 1944, in a Chicago suburb near O'Hare Airport, a typical American working-class Catholic family. His father, Howard, a former Navy man and strict police officer, believed harsh discipline would toughen his son. But his punishments were no joke, wrapping Robert in an old Navy mattress and spinning him until he vomited or locking him in tight spaces. These experiences didn't just cause physical pain, they planted deep insecurities in Robert, a burning desire for recognition and a simmering resentment toward his father, who always belittled him. As an only child, Robert found escape through education. At William Howard Taft High School, he formed a lifelong friendship with Jack Hosh. They graduated in 1962, obsessed with car racing and dreaming of becoming F1 drivers. Robert enrolled at Knox College, majoring in chemistry and studying Russian, an odd choice that later seemed to foreshadow his fate. His father wanted him to become a doctor, but Robert dropped out of Northwestern's dental school after 2 years, drawn instead to law enforcement like his father. In 1968, Robert married Bonnie Walk, a smart, beautiful woman from a devout Catholic family. Their wedding nearly fell apart due to Robert's infidelity, but they reconciled. Robert converted to Catholicism, becoming a dedicated member of Opus Dei, a conservative organization emphasizing holiness in daily life. They had 6 children, living a seemingly perfect life. Bonnie taught school, while Robert worked internal affairs for the Chicago Police Department, specializing in forensic accounting. In 1976, a major turning point, Robert joined the FBI, swearing to protect the U.S. Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. He started in Gary, Indiana, tackling white-collar crime, then moved to New York in 1978, working Soviet counterintelligence and building intelligence databases. There, he became fascinated with espionage, but also felt bored and underappreciated. Financial pressures from a Scarsdale mortgage and private school tuition for his kids began to weigh heavily. Hanssen, a 6'3" man, nicknamed the Mortician for always wearing black suits, was at the peak of his career, but inside childhood wounds were pushing him toward the abyss. Now we come to the most thrilling part, Robert Hanssen's betrayal. For over 2 decades, he wasn't just an FBI agent, but the most dangerous double agent in U.S. history, selling secrets to the Soviet Union and Russia, causing immeasurable damage. Let's explore the 3 phases of Hanssen's espionage from his first step to the catastrophic losses he left behind. Ready? Let's dive in. First steps of Betrayal, 1979-1980. In 1979, Hanssen faced crushing financial pressure in Scarsdale, New York. With 6 kids in private Catholic schools and a hefty mortgage, his FBI salary wasn't enough. So he made a fateful decision to betray. One day he walked into the Amtorg building, a front for the GRU Soviet military intelligence, just 2 blocks from Grand Central Station. No surveillance, no cameras. Hanssen knew he was safe. He sent an anonymous letter offering to sell classified information. His first big move, exposing the identity of top hat GRU Major General Dmitry Polyakov, a CIA asset since the 1960s. Polyakov was executed by the Soviets in 1986, partly because of Hanssen. In return, Hanssen earned $21,000, nearly double his annual FBI salary. But it almost ended early. One night in 1980, his wife Bonnie caught him secretly writing a letter in the basement. Fearing infidelity or worse, she confronted him. Hanssen admitted to selling information to the Soviets, but lied, claiming it was only fake data. Shocked, Bonnie forced him to see a priest. The priest demanded Hanssen stop and donate the money to charity, possibly Mother Teresa, though it's unclear if he did. Still, he paused his espionage, a rare moment of remorse. Millennium, golden era of betrayal, 1985 through 1991. But remorse didn't last. In 1985, job dissatisfaction and low self-esteem erupted. Hanssen felt the FBI didn't recognize his brilliance. He saw himself as the smartest in the room, but wasn't promoted as desired. He reconnected with the KGB, sending a letter to Viktor Cherkashin, a master spy at the Soviet embassy. Using the alias Ramon Garcia, Hanssen became a betrayal machine. Over 6 years, he delivered over 6,000 pages of classified documents and 26 CDs, exposing 3 KGB agents working for the FBI, Boris Yuzhin, imprisoned in Siberia for 5 years, and the M&M duo Sergei Motorin and Valery Martinov, both lured back to Moscow and brutally executed, each with a bullet to the head. Hanssen also compromised top-secret operations. The VIDS program, a vehicle tracking system for Russian officers, became useless. The Monopoly operation, a plan to dig a listening tunnel under the Soviet diplomatic compound, failed from the start, wasting millions. Worst of all, he revealed the continuity of government plan, ensuring U.S. operations during a nuclear war. If the Cold War had turned hot, the Soviets had a winning ticket thanks to Hanssen. In return, he received $500,000 in cash diamonds and a Russian escrow account. He used dead drops, leaving packages in secret locations signaled by white tape, but made mistakes like misplacing a package under a bridge in 1986. Still, Hanssen was nearly untouchable. Peak in peril, 1999-2001. After the Soviet Union's collapse, Hanssen paused, but in 1999 he contacted the SVR, the KGB's successor. More cautious than ever, he checked the FBI's database 9 times to ensure he wasn't suspected. He continued selling secrets using old dead drop techniques, but grew paranoid about being watched. He wrote to the SVR hinting his new FBI role was meaningless to keep him from classified materials. But this time he didn't know he'd been exposed. Hanssen's total damage, dozens of agents dead, millions wasted, and U.S. security gravely threatened. He didn't just sell secrets, he lived a James Bond-style spy fantasy, but in reality, he was a ruthless traitor. Hanssen thought he was invincible, but the FBI was closing in. How did they catch him? Stay tuned for the next part. Behind the image of a devout FBI agent, Robert Hanssen lived a double life hiding dark secrets no one could imagine. He was a devoted husband, father of 6, an Opus Dei member, but also a national traitor with shocking, deviant behaviors. This part uncovers the hidden corners of Hanssen's personal life details that stunned his family and the FBI. Buckle up because this story isn't for the faint of heart. Hanssen and Bonnie married in 1968, building a seemingly perfect family. But behind the loving facade, Hanssen manipulated and humiliated his wife in unimaginable ways. Early in their marriage, while his best friend Jack Hosch was in Vietnam, Hanssen sent Jack nude photos of Bonnie, calling them a morale booster. Jack thought it was a mistake, but Hanssen laughed, saying he hoped Jack enjoyed them. It didn't stop there. When Jack returned, Hanssen invited him to watch Bonnie shower through the bathroom door. Jack refused, but pressure from his friend eventually wore him down. The peak came in the 1980s. Hanssen installed a hidden camera in their bedroom, letting Jack watch him and Bonnie being intimate via a TV in another room. When it was cold, Jack no longer had to stand in the backyard, he could watch from the screen. Even more horrifying, Hanssen wrote erotic stories about Bonnie, posting them online under his real name, as if flaunting his wife without fear of exposure. Bonnie, unaware, lived in decades-long humiliation. These acts show Hanssen didn't just betray his country, but also the person closest to him, turning love into a tool for his twisted ego. In the late 1980s, Hanssen frequented Joanna's 1819, a Washington strip club. There he met Priscilla Sue Gailey, a dark-haired, blue-eyed dancer nicknamed Hot Legs. One day after her performance, Hanssen slipped $10 into her dressing room, then handed her his business card, claiming he was there to catch spies. They began talking, and a relationship quickly blossomed. Hanssen showered Priscilla with lavish gifts from KGB money, a diamond sapphire necklace, an American Express card, even a champagne-colored Mercedes-Benz. He also lent her his BMW to practice for her driver's test. The peak was a 1991 Hong Kong trip. Hanssen bought Priscilla a separate ticket to maintain his respectable image. By day he worked, she shopped. At night they dined at upscale restaurants and sipped wine at high-end bars. Priscilla hinted at intimacy multiple times, but Hanssen kept things platonic, at least by their accounts. Some investigators suspected he intended to use her as an espionage intermediary, but there's no proof. The relationship lasted until late 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed and Hanssen abruptly cut contact, leaving Priscilla with gifts and unanswered questions. These behaviors not only shock, but show Hanssen was a master of compartmentalization. Publicly, he was a devout father, attending Mass and encouraging friends to join Opus Dei. Secretly, he betrayed his country and family, living in a world of espionage and desire. He carried a Walter PPK James Bond's weapon as if living in a movie. But in reality, he was no hero, just a manipulator using classified information to compensate for low self-esteem. Hanssen's psyche was a maze. He craved recognition, but when it didn't come, he sought it from the KGB in deviant acts. He loved Bonnie but humiliated her. He opposed communism but sold secrets to the Soviets. This contradiction wasn't just personal, it was the tragedy of a man unable to reconcile his two lives. When the Soviet Union fell, Hanssen paused, but his darkness never faded. In the next part, we'll see how the FBI tightened the noose. Now we reach the climax. How did the FBI catch Robert Hanssen, the most dangerous mole in their history? For over 20 years, Hanssen operated like a shadow, selling secrets to the Soviets and Russia undetected. The FBI and CIA knew there was a mole, but kept chasing the wrong leads. Let's explore the thrilling manhunt. The mistakes and the moment Hanssen was handcuffed. Ready, let's go. From the mid-1980s, the FBI and CIA noticed a major problem. Dozens of Soviet agents suddenly went dark, arrested, executed, or vanished. The FBI formed an elite investigative team, but clues were scarce. They suspected a high-level mole, but looked in the wrong direction, initially blaming the CIA and focusing on Brian Kelly, a loyal CIA officer living on the same street as Hanssen. Kelly was surveilled, interrogated harshly in 1999, suspended, and his personal life upended. But Kelly was innocent. Meanwhile, Hanssen remained free, exploiting the confusion to continue betraying. Suspicion about Hanssen came from an unexpected source, his brother-in-law Mark Walk, also an FBI agent. In 1990, Walk heard from his wife that Bonnie found $5,000 in cash in Hanssen's sock drawer. He also overheard Hanssen joking about retiring in Poland, odd as Poland was behind the Iron Curtain. Walk reported it, but the FBI took no action. Hanssen escalated, hacking his boss's computer to expose security flaws and even attacking colleague Kimberly Lakenberg, injuring her. Yet he avoided serious discipline. In 2000, the FBI got a break. Alexander Zaporozhky, a former KGB officer unemployed after the Soviet collapse, was selling Russian art. The FBI lured him to New York under the guise of meeting an art dealer. Zaporozhky revealed he had valuable files, letters, recordings, and a KGB dead-drop package linked to an American mole. He demanded funding and U.S. resettlement for the files. The FBI agreed, and the package arrived at headquarters. The files contained Hanssen's letters to the KGB voice recordings, not Kelly's, and a dead-drop package with fingerprints matching Hanssen's. Agent Jim Milburn spotted a clue, a letter using a derogatory era term for the Japanese, and mentioning Chicago Mayor Richard M. Daley, both tied to Hanssen's Chicago days. The evidence was clear: Hanssen was the mole. The FBI needed to catch Hanssen in the act for a solid conviction. They tricked him into returning to headquarters as a security expert, waiving his mandatory retirement age and promoting him to stroke his ego. Hanssen was under 24/7 surveillance, his new office rigged with hidden cameras and microphones. The FBI bought the house across from his to watch him. Eric O'Neill, a 27-year-old agent, was assigned as his assistant, posing as a tech expert. O'Neill searched Hanssen's briefcase, finding an SD card with a letter to the SVR. But the big target was Hanssen's Palm Pilot, which he boasted had unbreakable encryption. The FBI devised a plan to challenge Hanssen to a shooting match at an underground range, betting $20. He reluctantly left his office for an hour. O'Neill grabbed the Palm Pilot floppy disk and SD card, handing them to the tech team to copy. The data revealed the final dead drop date, February 18, 2001, at Foxstone Park. The FBI prepared to catch him red-handed. On Sunday afternoon, Hanssen dropped Jack Hosh at the Dallas airport, then pulled into the Seven Plaza parking lot, preparing a dead drop package in his Taurus 7 classified documents, a letter to the SVR wrapped in a black trash bag. At Foxstone, he taped white tape to a signpost and hid the package under the bridge. SWAT, hiding in the shadows, feared Hanssen, known for his shooting skills and arsenal, might resist. As he returned to his car, 2 SUVs blocked his path. Agent Deborah Smith ordered arrest him. Hanssen was cuffed in seconds, offering no resistance. He said, "What took you so long?" as if he knew this day would come. Bonnie worried when he didn't return. For dinner was stopped by the FBI at the airport. Their home was searched, but Bonnie was cleared of wrongdoing. She was devastated to learn her husband's betrayal began in 1979, earlier than the FBI thought. The arrest closed 22 years of deception. The Robert Hanssen case isn't just about a traitor. It's the darkest stain in FBI history, leaving profound lessons about security and loyalty. Hanssen caused immense damage, exposing agent networks, ruining operations, and forcing a complete FBI overhaul. This part explores his legacy, the psychology behind his actions, and the question, could there be another Hanssen out there? Let's dive in. Hanssen operated for 22 years, from 1979 to 2001, selling secrets to the GRU, KGB, and SVR. He exposed dozens of agents like Top Hat, Boris, Yuzhin, Motorin, and Martynov. Most were executed or imprisoned. Operations like Vid's Monopoly, in the continuity of government plan, were compromised, wasting millions. The continuity of government plan ensuring U.S. operations during a nuclear war was exposed, threatening national security. Hanssen received $600,000 in cash diamonds and an $800,000 Russian escrow account, but the value of the secrets he sold far exceeded that. The fallout wasn't just material. The FBI and CIA lost trust. Hanssen's colleagues were shocked to learn their respected peer was a mole. Brian Kelly, wrongly suspected, was cleared in 2001, but died in 2011 from heart failure. His family believes stress from the investigation contributed. Bonnie, though loyal, was shattered to learn of her husband's betrayal and humiliating acts. Hanssen's 6 children lost their image of an ideal father. The case became a media nightmare, raising the question, why didn't the FBI catch him sooner? Psychiatrist David Charney interviewed Hanssen for over 100 hours to understand what made him a spy. Money was a factor raising 6 kids, and paying a mortgage wasn't easy. But Charney concluded low self-esteem from childhood was the core. Hanssen's father's harsh punishments left him feeling never good enough. Simmering anger and a craving for recognition drove him to seek validation from the KGB, where he felt like the smartest guy in the room. Hanssen was also obsessed with espionage. He carried a Walter PPK read spy literature for hours and lived a James Bond fantasy. But his counterintelligence role was desk-bound, not field work, so he compensated with a dangerous game with Russia. Charney called Hanssen a master of compartmentalization. He separated his devout life from betrayal, his love for Bonnie from deviant acts. He loved his country, but sold it out. He loved Bonnie, but humiliated her. This contradiction was Hanssen's greatest tragedy. The Hanssen case forced an FBI overhaul. The Webster Commission, led by William H. Webster, reviewed FBI security. Results: 500 senior managers required polygraph tests, surveillance systems upgraded, and classified materials segmented. Hanssen had never taken a polygraph, a major gap. The FBI also improved detection of unauthorized computer use, as Hanssen had hacked their database. Hanssen was sentenced to life without parole in 2002 after pleading guilty to 15 espionage charges. He was held at ADX Florence, a supermax prison in solitary confinement, 23 hours a day in a concrete cell, allowed 1 hour of exercise and library books. The isolation took a toll, and on June 5, 2023, Hanssen was found unresponsive in his cell, dying of colon cancer. The Hanssen case is a warning: the greatest enemy may be within. The Redmond Rule. There's always a spy in your organization still holds. Despite FBI reforms, no one can be sure another Hanssen isn't out there. This story isn't just history. It's a reminder of human complexity. Hanssen was a traitor, but also a victim of his own inner conflicts. What do you think? Could anyone become a Hanssen in the wrong circumstances? We've just explored the unbelievable story of Robert Hanssen, from FBI agent to the worst double agent in U.S. history. He betrayed his country, family, and himself, leaving a painful but lesson-filled legacy. Now it's your turn. Do you think Hanssen was a ruthless traitor or just a victim of inner turmoil? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Looking back, Hanssen's story isn't just about betrayal. It's a mirror reflecting the dangers of low self-esteem and lack of oversight. He lived two lives: a devout father and a spy with deviant tendencies. He earned hundreds of thousands from the KGB, but the cost was allied lives, national security, and his own freedom. This case changed how the FBI operates, but it raises the question: how do we prevent another Hanssen? If you love spy stories like this, don't miss out. Hit like to support the channel and subscribe with the bell to catch the next video. We're preparing to cover Aldrich Ames, another CIA double agent, and Eddie Chapman, the British spy known as Agent Zigzag. Who do you want to see? First comment to let me know. Thanks for watching to the end. Hanssen's story isn't just history. It's a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous enemy isn't out there. It's within. Do you think the FBI learned its lesson? Or are there still moles hiding? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Stay curious.